Hello, welcome to Aging Well in America. I'm Anne Marie Gattari, your host. Every day, 10,000 people in the United States turn 65. 5.5 million people are aged 85 and older. By the year 2050, that number grows to 20. 20 million people will be aged 85 or older. Are we ready? Is America ready? There's so much good work going on around the country, around the state, and right here in our own community. And we are here today on the campus of Wayne State University. We are here to explore the results of some very interesting research recently done on driving distraction as we age. And we have with us here Doreen, Randy. Please give us your full names and titles.
I'm Doreen Head. I'm the Program Director for Occupational Therapy and Assistant Professor here in the program.
Hi, Doreen. Welcome. And Randy?
Hi, I'm Randy Commissaris. I'm in the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, which is in the College of Pharmacy.
Great. Thank you so much. This experiment, this research that you've recently done, looks at specifically texting while driving. Tell us a little bit about what you, before you get into the results, which are very, very important, and not all that surprising, although a little bit. I'd like to know what brought you to this research and why.
Well, in my earlier career, this is sort of a second career for me, I was studying the effects of drugs on behavior. My subjects were actually experimental rats. Doreen and I would have had several conversations over the years, and we've talked about the car, because we have a driving simulator which you'll get a chance to drive in. And we talked about how we could collaborate, and we came to this idea that texting might be an interesting way to sort of bring our interests together.
Right. And Doreen, in the School of Occupational Therapy, which is your purview, what is the relationship?
Well, it's very important that people understand the occupation and the things that we do in our daily lives. And driving certainly is one of those areas of everyday occupation. And it's very important for us to explore as we age the things that change, and the things that we're typically doing now is including texting and driving, and how we have the young folks doing it and the older folks doing it, and so it's very important that this research was conducted.
Sure. When did you do the research?
We did most of the research in the summer of 2013.
Okay. How many subjects did you have?
We had 50 subjects total. Our interest was in looking at a range of ages, because there is a significant published literature in the scientific community about texting and driving and the hazards of texting and driving. That literature is focused primarily, very heavily in fact, on younger drivers. And of
what
course,
ages?
18 to 25, let's say.
And your research? And
our research subjects ran a span from 18 to 55 years old. Actually, our oldest subject was 59.
Okay.
We were interested in that because that's a population, the group older than 25 is much more likely to text now than they used to be. And they're also likely to text while driving.
I want to talk a little bit about myself, because I know I'm going to get into the car here in a minute and try it out, and I'm a little nervous about it.
You'll be okay.
I have 2 young daughters. They're both under 25, and I'm constantly preaching to them. But I find myself, you know, the do as I say, not as I do school of parenting. And I'm very ashamed to admit that I have done a fair amount of texting while driving. I'm expecting this to change my life and that I will leave here with a new commitment not to do that. Have you found that other people have experienced that when they've walked away?
I'll say, first of all, you shouldn't be ashamed, but you should be willing to change your attitude. We have found that many of our subjects will come back from the experiment and say, yes, I went into it thinking that texting and driving was a problem, but I thought I could handle it, and it's much more of a problem than I thought. So we have changed some minds. We'd like to think for a long period of time. We don't really know. We've changed some minds.
Okay, very good. Your research has been published? It's completed? And
it's in the scientific community. We call it in press, because in the January edition of a journal called Accident Analysis and Prevention, which I'm sure all of your readers read on a regular basis, your viewers read on a regular basis, but it is a journal of high quality in the scientific community, especially in traffic safety and transportation issues.
Okay, very good.
It will be published in that issue.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about where we are right now.
In this classroom?
Yeah, in the school.
In the school. We are in one of the occupational therapy program highly used classroom. This is the Barbara Jewett room, and Barbara Jewett was our first founder and director of the program, and so this room has been named in her honor.
Okay.
And the driving simulator is a part of that classroom.
Okay.
For the college use.
How many experiments have you done using the driver simulator?
We've done one experiment with simply looking at the age-related differences in texting and driving. We just completed a study looking at the influence of what are called beer goggles, because we're interested in drugs and driving. We wanted to mimic the disruptive effects of alcohol, but we weren't ready at a point to bring in subjects and give them alcohol. So they wore the beer goggles, and they texted without the beer goggles and with the beer goggles. And even though texting is really bad, texting when drunk is really, really, really bad.
I imagine. So the beer goggles actually make you fuzzier.
The beer goggles produce a visual disturbance that mimics some of the effects of alcohol in terms of vision. Yeah.
My goodness. Well,
you can wear them if you want.
I think I'll do I'll participate in one experiment at a time. I'm ready to.
Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Very good. Let's do this.
All right, let's get into that car and see what I can do. Okay, here we are in the car. We're going to see what it's like to be distracted. Are you all set, Kathy?
The road looks clear. Let's do it.
Looks clear. So we're just driving along Lakeshore Drive, and we're going to go downtown and check out the university. Well, I thought we might see the university first. Okay. I haven't been down to Wayne in a while. I hear wonderful things are going on down there.
You can press the brake, pull the car into drive, the shift right there, and then press the gas.
Okay, here we go.
There's lots of construction too. You've got to keep your eyes open for. They're putting in the light rail downtown, so that's very
right.
exciting.
That is right.
Yeah.
There is lots of construction and lots of just so many new things are going on. It's really exciting.
I think a lot of students are starting to live downtown as well, and I don't know. We'll jump on that light rail and go to baseball games in the future. Right?
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That blue car ahead of you is going to be your pace car. It's going to have you stay around about 55 to 60 miles per hour, and just don't hit the pace car.
I guess I better speed up. I'm going to be holding up traffic here if I don't get going a little bit.
It's a beautiful day for driving.
It is a beautiful day. Look at how clear the skies are. This is
the correct lane to be in is on the other side of that line.
I realize.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, this is really not quite as easy as it seems it should be. You're going to try to avoid that.
I feel secure.
Uh-oh. A text just came in.
Oh, well, do you want me to get it? Or, well, you know, I'm so unfamiliar with the new iPhones. Maybe
well,
I can hold the wheel for you.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Let me just check this out real quick. Uh-oh. Whoa! That was not smart. Okay, I am so sorry. I am not going to do that again. Holy cow. That really
Maybe if you just drove faster.
Faster and then tried to text?
Yeah.
Wow, that was really something. That was quite a drive. It was much more difficult than I thought, and it was easy for me to understand while attempting to look at those texts while driving. Just really what a bad idea it is. We talked a little bit before we went into the car that you've changed some minds. Have you kept up with anybody who participated, and have they been able to stay off of their phones while they're driving?
We haven't done that as a standard practice. We haven't monitored that on every subject, but we do have one subject who, a few weeks ago, did our study and sent back an email saying, I am never going to text while driving again, and she has continued to maintain that, and we've maintained contact with her.
Oh, good.
I suspect, and I certainly hope, that that's the case with some of our other drivers.
Tell us a little bit more about the age difference, or the difference in driving ability by age, and what is that? Were you surprised?
We were a little surprised because the texting is part of the larger area called distracted driving, and within that scientific literature, distracted driving is something that's usually thought of as a kid problem, a young driver problem.
Because the rest of us have experience, right?
Right.
So our experience in driving should be able to make up for...
Yeah, the assumption is that the seasoned, experienced driver will be able to manage this additional challenge. But what we found is nobody can manage this challenge.
That's right.
Is that because, Doreen, as we're aging, our responses are getting slower, and our reaction is impaired a bit?
Yeah, I would agree. I would think so. But there are other variables that come into play with that, and using certain technology has an impact. Also, I think there's a sense of confidence that one may have, thinking, "Oh, I could do it," but we found that not so much. That's really not the case.
Right. Okay. You were going to add, Randy, to the is age? Is it because of our reactive process slowing down?
I jump on your sentences, and I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. That's called conversation.
Well, you want to ask it again, then I won't jump on it?
No, what I was asking
You can
was,
add it, right?
is it, why are we finding that the older we get, the more difficult it is to do something while we're supposed to be doing something else? The distraction is more of an issue.
Well, that's a very interesting question, and actually we don't know the answer to that. I don't think in this case. I think there are two major possibilities in operation. One is that it may be the case that older drivers, our 30 and our 40-year-olds, actually spend more time looking at their phone and not looking at the road. Because in a texting bout, we call it a texting bout, when someone has a text conversation, it's not, I'll look at my phone for a while and then I'll look up. It's I look at my phone, I look up, I look at my phone, I look up, I look at my phone, I look up. Some of our drivers will do that 25 times. Some will do that 6 or 7 times. We're not sure yet whether that factor varies with age, with the number of times you look away. Also, we're not sure whether the time that you look away, the duration of that glance at the phone, is different in our older and our younger drivers. So that's one possibility. And the other possibility is that they may just be not as good at multitasking. It's sort of something that our younger group, our 18 to 25-year-olds, grew up multitasking. And maybe that is a factor. But we're in the process of trying to determine whether it's something that we can actually measure very easily, like the eye glances, or whether it's an ability or a difference in an ability to sort of manage multiple projects at once, if you will.
Right.
And the literature shows that there's a new term called task shifting. And instead of us really saying we can multitask, we're really shifting from task to task. And how quickly are we able to do that? Cognitively, how quickly are we able to do that? And we feel the younger generation may be able to do it quicker, but they may not either.
So I want to make sure that the lesson here is not inadvertently saying one thing when we really need everybody to hear the major precautionary message, right? So if you
Yeah, I think
speak to
our
that.
absolute message, our absolute take-home message is don't text and drive because it can lead to a major crash.
Yes. It's
I
not-
think our secondary message is that message we are sending to our young adults. We have lots of don't text and drive campaigns. I think they're aware of the issue. They may still text and drive, and they shouldn't. But that message may not be getting out there to the older drivers. And older in this case, I'm talking about the 30 to 50-year-old drivers. And they may, without seeing that message, think, oh, I can handle this. And they may actually be in a situation where they're preaching to their kids, don't text and drive, and they're texting and driving.
Very, very, very important message and distinction, I think. Let's shift our discussion a bit, if we could, because Doreen, before we started, you were talking a little bit about some of the other objectives of the occupational school here at Wayne, and also the School of Pharmacy. This is all part of one major college. Talk a little bit about that interaction of the two entities, and then some of your work specifically.
Well, here at the
please.
Eugene Applebaum College of Pharmacy and Health Science, we really strive to have collaborations amongst the multiple programs that we have here in the college. And so Randy and I, Randy being in pharmacy and myself being on the healthcare science side in occupational therapy, thought this would be a great way to bring the two areas together in this study and use this equipment that we have here. And so we feel that our students would have an opportunity to take a look at what we're doing, to understand the research, how a research project is created, how we can get wonderful information from it and disseminate it to the broader community so that we can have an impact on how people live their lives. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to add that we have had several groups of students. They are usually students. We'd like to see more older adults, but we don't see them. But we had several groups of students who will come to visit our building, and we'll spend an hour here, and we'll have a conversation about texting and driving, and then they'll get to drive the car as you had, and they go, oh, I didn't realize it was like that. And then we let them watch a videotape of themselves, and they say, I'm not looking at the road, am I? And we say, no, you're not. And we've had several of those sessions.
You can't not look at the road in the simulator for very long without going off the road.
But it's also true you can't look away from the road in a car for very long without having trouble.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the point is there, and it's very realistic.
I'll give you actually the personal example from today. This morning I was leaving this building, and I had a meeting at the main campus at Wayne State, which is about a mile away. And I was walking across the street to the parking structure, and there were a group of about 5 people walking in the opposite direction. I was walking to the structure. We were about to cross, because it's a crosswalk, pedestrian right-of-way, and 6 of us had to stop in our tracks because somebody was rolling through at 20 miles an hour with her face in her phone. She was texting. And had we not stopped, there would have been an accident.
Yeah.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, you really, even when I'm out walking my dog or even riding my bike, if I'm encountering a vehicle, I make sure that I make eye contact with the driver before I step in front or roll in front of that vehicle. It's it is a true societal issue, and this is wonderful research, and I'm so glad we're able to share in getting the message out.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you come, and we're glad that you could be one of our subjects. You're not one of our official subjects, but probably one of our more celebrity subjects.
Well, it was fun actually, but the message is serious.
Yeah.
I think we have a few more minutes, Doreen. I'd like to learn a little bit more about some of the other research you're doing in the field of aging and occupational therapy in general, and how so many elderly people are either getting physical therapy or occupational therapy, and often it's in their homes. So would you mind talking a little bit about how your field is changing some of the work that you're doing to help people as they age?
Well, we certainly, there's certainly a lot of research in our profession of occupational therapy that addresses the aging population. We're looking at things like aging in place. A lot of people do not want to leave their homes, and they want to be able to live in their homes safely. We're looking at caregiver research, more specifically people who may have Alzheimer's or other kind of cognitive impairments, and how can they age in place or have their caregivers provide optimal care for them.
Are you talking about family caregivers?
Family caregivers, yes. We often have people who are sandwiched in between. They have an elderly parent, but they also have children that they have to take care of, and that becomes a challenge.
Often because they're so stretched.
Yes.
They're the ones that are
trying to manage everything in their daily lives. And so that's another area of research. And we are very fortunate to have a relationship with the Institute of Gerontology here at Wayne State University, where a lot of research is being conducted and a lot of good material is being disseminated for everybody to learn from. We have people who are there who are volunteer research subjects, and they want to be involved with that. We're also looking at fall prevention. We're looking at how can you stay healthy as you age, and the kinds of meaningful activities that you engage in. How can you continue to do that later on in life?
Talk about the fall prevention one. That's there couldn't be a bigger issue with regard to elderly, and then the complexities that happen after a fall. What exactly is your focus in that area?
Well, here in the classroom, well, we're teaching students how to help people to manage to get around in their during their daily occupations, the dressing, bathing, doing home care, in the kitchen, those kinds of things. And so we're trying to help students to understand that you may have to go into the home, you may have to remove loose rugs that are around. You may have to take some of those cans or packages that are up high and have it down at a lower area to sit to do a lot of some of the activities. Maybe stairs or ramps might have to be changed within the home so that the person can get around and be in their home without injuring themselves. And those are little things that we often overlook, but the student would be able to do an analysis of the home and be able to figure out how best to help that person to manage day to day. And it might include those adult caregivers, family members that can help that person to rearrange some things so that it makes it easier and safer in the home.
One of the things I have found is removing something simple like throw rugs.
Throw rugs, yeah.
Is a huge obstacle because we love our throw rugs.
Yes.
They're so pretty. We put them down
pretty.
for a reason, plus they're warm to stand on.
Right.
But I've been in more than one home where I've had to ask somebody, please remove this, and it's something simple but difficult to do.
And that beautiful china or whatever that you want up, and oftentimes we may not think to ask someone to get it, and you might step on a stool that's not so stable, and it could cause a fall. Or if a person is not really aware that they're becoming more dizzy, or maybe their joints aren't as strong as they used to be, and you think you can do those things, and you may fall. So you have to be aware of those your health changes as well.
Yeah. Very good. Well, this is some excellent work that you're both doing, and again, thank you for inviting us into your laboratory.
Well, thank you very much. And if I could,
please,
if anybody would like, any of your viewers would like to come and see the simulator, or maybe be part of a group to have a presentation which would involve driving the simulator, they can certainly contact you, and then you can reach us perhaps.
Well, why don't you give us your phone number, and we'll give people a minute to get paper and
on the
pencil.
air?
Absolutely. The number that you'd like them to call you here. Is there a number to call or an email?
Yeah, I can give you.
Or would you rather they call the?
They could. Well, we don't have a phone number for this particular project, and so I was thinking my first thought was my cell phone. Then I thought again. So
Yeah, that's fine. We'll have them contact us here at the program, and then we will definitely get them in touch with you.
We definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and they can contact the War Memorial, which is often a good place for us to collect information. So we'll do that.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Randy, Doreen. You've both been
Thank
delightful, and this was really quite a serious learning experience, and I thank you for the opportunity.
You're
Well,
welcome.
thank you for coming.
Yes,
Okay.
we've enjoyed having you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, we've come to the end of another episode of Aging Well in America, and as Randy has said, if you would like to participate or to see this up close, please contact us at the War Memorial in Grosse Pointe, and we will be sure to make the connection and get you in touch. Thank you.